viewers, welcome to a fresh episode of Women's World. I am Sonia Bhattacharya. Well, they say that a house is made of bricks and beams, but a home is made of hopes and dreams. So today I'm delighted to have with me two wonderful women who put in their heart and soul to turn your dream home into a reality. Viewers, I introduce to you two innovators, creators and home decorators, Priyanshi and Karishma. So welcome to Women's World, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm sure we're going to be learning a lot about how a person can make their space more personalized, more creative through this conversation that we're going to be having. So first of all, I'll start with you, Karishma. If you can just tell our viewers, how did your journey begin and what attracted you towards this field of interior designing?
All right, so my journey started when I was in class 10 and was deciding for my career at the next step, and I had an eye towards creativity as an artist, or I used to paint, I used to anything which is aesthetically very nice or something used to attract me a lot. And I thought I was yet confused between medical or in architecture, because I didn't know specifically this design can be an interior design subject as well.
Right.
And that in course of time in those years like 2009-10, nobody was there to help you out, even or a guidance out in Guwahati. And yeah, Google helped me at last, and I could find a subject called interior design, Bachelor of Interior Design, and that's how I planned to, do my course in that.
Right.
So I completed my course. It was a 3-year course from 10 to 13, and I passed out in 2013 from Amity University, Noida. After completing that course, I was working with Lee Meridian and Marriott Hotels as well. And after that, I shifted to Bangalore. So Bangalore was a new journey because I thought designs are not specific to one city. Let's learn more. Let's now be in South and see, And after that, I started my own career. Like things got a new turn. The one interview I had for my, the client got really good, and they hired me as a designer, and that's how my firm, which is in the name of K Design now, started at that point of time. And so now I have an office here in Guwahati. It's been just new branch, and the main office is in Bangalore.
So you're not just an interior designer, but you're an entrepreneur as well. You've started your own firm, your own business now.
Yes.
And it's very young. Is it in its infant stage right now?
I would say like I have started doing it from 2014.
Okay.
And now it's like 18, almost 4 years right now.
So it's stabilizing now and it's gaining ground slowly. Okay, that's wonderful. And what about you, Priyanshi? Tell our viewers a little about you as well.
Yes. I started my, I was in BCom, right? I was in BCom in Guwahati. Then I have heard about interiors and I was into craft and all. I used to make something out of waste every time at my home. So I told my parents to get admission into interior designers. But they were like, what is this? And nobody knows about it basically. So I forced them to get me admission into interiors, and I have started my interior from NIID Chandmari, Guwahati itself.
Right.
And then I started my internship from My Creations. Then I was into 1.5 years of internship. Then I started as a freelancer. I started myself working, and I have a firm named Create Design.
Okay, Create Design. That sounds wonderful. And something very interesting about the two of you, you had mentioned just a while ago that you were confused between medical and architecture. Now, that's a very unusual combination, because usually we hear people getting confused between medical and engineering. That's usually the confusion that people have. So how did you decide that this is, because the two are very different. Medical is more to do with science, more practical, and there you have creativity in interior designing. So how did you make up your mind that, no, this is something that I need to do? And how supportive were your parents when you made this decision?
Okay, so I was like very good in biology, and that's what my friends and dad used to be like, you need to be a doctor, you have an eye for that. But yes, because 90% of my brain used to work in a very creative things, anything in a household, my cousins, friends, anything, related to design or any art, anything. And at that point of time, after my 12th, I was like, I need to make my decision. I applied for product designing, to be very frank, in symbiosis. So for me, even product designing was something artistic, according to me. But at the last moment, life really gives you something really different at a point. My dad was like just seeing through a newspaper. He told me, beta, just see this. There is one course called interior design. Like as I told you in Google, I used to search it, and he's like, see, the same thing that you told me, interior design is. So you can just apply to Amity, and that's why I applied, and I got it in the first run, and things got in a very different way. And yes, parents have been a very support system to me, because unlike other parents, not to be comma, but they used to be like, okay, do whatever you want, but be successful tomorrow. you should be confident whatever you're doing. And yes, I have taken a very big risk because at that point of time nobody was there to guide me what will be your salary or what exactly you're gonna do it. So every phase is like a learning phase for me. First time when I got into my college, I saw 15 subjects per semester. Used to be like, oh my god, you have so many things. Absolutely. But yes, why not do something out of it, right? And that things cope up in a very good way. And like, yeah,
so that was a risk that you took and it's worked out for your benefit.
Exactly.
And Priyanshi, you as well, you know, you ventured into BCom first and then you shifted directly to interior designing. Tell us more on that.
Actually, I have completed BCom and interior both together.
Together?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was interested in interior designing more than a BCom. Then I skipped my college. I was in KC Das and it was very risk to skip the college just because at that time our principal was very strict. So I skipped my college and then I used to go to interior classes, and then I have together with BCom I have completed my interiors, and my parents at that time they started supporting. Yeah, like she likes interior designing, then we need to support, and they supported me and I was able to complete my interior in 2014.
Okay, in 2014.
Yeah,
so it's been
together
about
with BCom.
4 years now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So now that you both have your own respective firms, you're freelancing as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, definitely whenever somebody starts off, it's never a cakewalk. There are a lot of difficulties you need to overcome. You need to gain popularity as well so that clients come to you. So how did you overcome that? Tell us a little about your failures as well, you know, the times when you struggled and came out of it. Because I'm sure there's so many young girls who are watching the show right now, and very often when we see someone on TV, we feel like, okay, they have it all and it must have been easy for them. But when they'll hear about your struggles, perhaps it will inspire them as well.
All right. So yeah, obviously it was not a smooth way, to be very frank. So initial starting was I used to be, you know, brainstorm my designs. I used to visit site. I used to hear when clients, obviously they are clients, they're paying us. We have to work for them. But you know, at times you feel like, okay, you studied so much, and then today you are doing this. How many years more it's gonna take you? But it's all about your positivity as well, and you have to be very calm and patient as well. And yes, along with that, you have to be, you know, very updated as well, so that to stand, you know, different from the other crowd. That was how was my, you know, scenario in my case, like in my thing. So I used to be like patience. Yes, sometimes used to like, I know I'm fed up, I'm done, I cannot do anymore. So next used to be like, no, let's be positive and be, you know, let's say, you know. But yes, in that course of time, you learn many things, how to handle clients. You learn many things, how to, you know, how to be patient when you're in a business, when you're an entrepreneur. You have to keep a smiling face as well. Whenever you, even if you're angry, you cannot show it them, right?
Yeah.
So you know, you learn many things in that course of time. And yes, it has been a very tough journey for me as well, because just having 1 year experience, I thought to open up my own firm. I took a risk, yes, but it was worth it. Like today, I'm very happy. Like when I see my firm, like, you know, from last 4 years, oh wow, it stands in a great height today. So yes, I would say like we shouldn't be thinking something, you know, that it's gonna stop us, let's not do. It should be always a positive, even though you don't have anything at, you know, like I didn't expect anything much, you know, that I'll be doing this course and I'll be getting this much salary or how I'll be popular. No, nothing. It was just a flow of time and everything, because your passion really works, and I had that passion to do it. So
we need to be passionate.
Passionate, yeah, true.
Passion is your secret mantra.
Yes, exactly.
And Priyanshi, do you relate to that as well?
Yeah, exactly. I too agree. Means, it was very tough for me. Like, firstly, I didn't have any project when I started as a freelancer. I was an interior designer, but I was working in an accounts firm. Okay. Yeah. Then after that, I got one project from my boss itself, who gave me one project, and then I started. That way only I started my work. 1, then 2, then 3, then more, then more. Then I have to be patient. Like we have to keep patience, just because clients are very cranky, just because they got crank कि आपने ये नहीं किया, आपने वो नहीं किया, ऐसे नहीं किया, वैसे नहीं किया. So like we have to keep patience, then only we can move forward.
Right, absolutely. We need to be patient and we need to be passionate.
Yeah, exactly.
These are two things that really help us go a long way. You know, people usually say that there's popular saying in Hindi that har ghar kuch kehta hai. That's what they say, that every house has a language of its own. You know, so if I were to walk into, let's say, Karishma's home, what am I going to find?
Okay, so you're gonna find my home in a very straight line and very minimalistic design. I am not into too much of colors. I like to show anything which is very simple yet elegant. You know, that is my design styling that I do. So, and I really play with sustainable design because my thesis on my college time was on sustainable design. That's green design. I try to do things which doesn't use more of electricity, more of, you know, it combines, like, you know, the house positions has to be done in that way that where you get more sunlight, you don't need light. Your house is cooled down with the use of just one-tone AC. So I used to work on projects, but yes, every project is not the same. And in Guwahati, it's very tough. But as along, you know, my first project in Guwahati, my journey started with my client. His name is Mr. Vikas Jain, whose house was in Kharguli. And he was one of a very supportive client who have given me a boost ahead to, like, you know, get more clients, be more confident. And after the project worked out really good, I got many projects in Guwahati. So that house was one of a project which have given me a satisfaction, like whatever I did in my thesis have helped me out. So, you know, those are some of my design signature styling. Whatever I do, I try to put ahead in more of very simple. I don't say that everything, anything which is very beautiful has to be, you know, very costly. That is not the thing, how people think, right? Yeah. But I feel making something utilization in a very smart way, yet making it very simple so that you're investing once, you know, one time, and it has to stretch it down to 5 to 6 years, and you do not feel bored. You know, anything. It might be a residence or a commercial space, anything. And that's how it have clicked. Like from last 4 years, what I have done, I have seen clients calling me, the old clients, been saying, Karishma, okay, whatever we have done, people still ask us, okay, okay, you have changed the design or something. I mean, we have done some space in a residence where we have seen, like, just changing a sofa, like a color or a cushion or a curtain color, like, you know, changes the whole outlook of the house. Right. So those are some of the very, you know, creative and wise things that has to be done to make it, you know, really look perfect. So I feel like my styling is more into sustainable designs and very straight minimal designs.
Okay, minimal, and you also like it eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly, yes.
Yeah. In layman's term, we call it eco-friendly. Okay, all right. And what about you, Priyanshi? What would we find in your space?
You can see very simple, smart and elegant designs, because I believe in doing something out of waste. Like, people are not into investing much. They don't want to invest much because it is very costly. Right. The process is very costly, and they don't want to spend much. So, like, out of waste, making something which is eco-friendly, smart and elegant and simple.
Okay, so you like to reuse and recycle. Yeah, that is something that you do quite a bit. So if you can just give our viewers a little bit of an idea, enlighten them a little, maybe something that you picked up, a project that you did where you took up something that was old and discarded.
Yeah, it was there. There was an old and discarded furniture of my client. Okay, then I reused the boards and all the stuff I reused in, and I have made a different design with it.
Okay, and so the expenditure was very less.
With very less expenditure. So, and they even liked it also.
Okay,
and it was
Okay, that's lovely. I think we'll be talking more about the kind of tips that people can get from you. I think this will be a wonderful session. I'm sure people have so many questions as well on how they can design their space. But before that, you know, let's talk about interior designing in the Northeast. Because from what I have seen, just from my day-to-day experience, is that very seldom do we have this culture of hiring an interior designer here. It's still a very new concept for us. You know, when we're redoing a home, let's say, for example, people still think it's something they can do themselves. Just a while ago, we were talking about how people think they can find out designs from the internet and just think that they can be the interior designer.
Yeah, exactly.
So why would you say it's important for a person to hire you, and what's the business scene like in the Northeast?
Okay, from my personal experience, I didn't find any hard thing here in Guwahati, because by the time I entered Guwahati in 2016, I started my business here. My first project, as I told you, on the Kharguli side. I found clients very interactive, very knowledgeable. They have traveled the world. They know what exactly they're gonna, you know, they wanted. And yes, there are themes. You know, as example, we can take a tablet, sing a Google for a cough, but we have to consult a doctor because we have done that study, right? Absolutely. So it's something like that. It's not easy just of putting a color cushion or something like that, because everything is related. If I make you understand, you know, layman's language. Yeah. So, you know, a layout which has, like, you know, a sofa which is in a color of blue or a red, we cannot give a ceiling light in a red or blue. it gonna merge it, right? We have to be in a natural color. So those are very small specific terms, and there are thousands of theme designs, like starting from contemporary, minimalistic, traditional designs. So the client has to hire an interior designer exactly to get it, like what does he want. I mean, I feel, because yes, this is a profession on the other hand, but yes, I mean, people should understand, like seeing a Google and just placing it is not a design at all, because and I feel like and Guwahati market is like one of a very booming market now, and it's our responsibility sometime when I get calls from client who just ask me, like, can you just help out with a ceiling design? So I tell them, with like, until unless I see your site and how is the placement of your furniture, I cannot give you a ceiling design. So clients are actually very cooperative here in Northeast rather than the other places where I have worked, and they are like eager to learn. Okay, if this is that, how you gonna help us and guide us? So things are going in a very good note for me as well.
Okay, so it's a booming market,
yes,
and that's something good for a lot of the upcoming interior designers. Would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I agree to her. Like it is a booming market, and yeah, exactly. People need to hire because it contains a theme. It is a theme project. Like if we are planning to build a house, then we need to keep a theme. And obviously, I want something like, I want this color and this traditional theme or contemporary theme. There are many kind of themes in interior also. So we need to get ideas from our clients, what they want. Then only accordingly we need to plan with their ideas.
Okay. So all right, you need to interact with them, plan it out.
Yeah,
that's a very important part of it. Okay, so I have actually studied, even as a student, when I was a student as well. Interior designing was always something that people thought, they never took it up as a proper career option. Like you said, not many people knew about it. Not many people still know about it. So what would you like to tell those people who maybe want to take this up, but they're unsure if this is going to work out as a profession? What would you like to tell them?
Okay, I would like to suggest them, like, to note down some of their points. What are they good with? Because interior designing is just not a whole subject. There are many branches in interior design. Might be a furniture design, might be a lighting designer, or might be some set designing as well. That set designing is also a part of an interior design, as we studied. So I feel a person who is a bit confused, like if he is very good with the furniture design sketchings, he should go ahead with that career. But yes, he have to go through interior design course only, because in India I haven't seen any course specific to those lighting or furniture, because everything is related. Might be he can work tomorrow as like we have companies like Urban Leather or Pepper Fry. He can work as a furniture designer out there, or even same goes for the lighting as well. And yes, after 12 now people can I have been guiding the same thing ahead to many of my juniors as well, that once you are done with your 10th, try to focus about exactly are you really made for that interior design course. If you're artistic, it's very important at first note, because usually people join the course thinking it's just about colors and painting, but it's not. You're gonna work hard for that. You have to visit sites. You have to be very, your mind has to be very, what do you say that? It has to be very it has to work in a very smart way. You have to be in a very clever as well to understand what materials do you have, how can you design it. You have to open your eyes everywhere you visit just to get an idea how things works up. It really matters. As a student, I had been doing that. So even now I get remember, okay, in that hotel I saw that, might be I can implement something like that. So a person has to be very specific. If he's really passionate, if he really thinks that he's in an artistic ground, it's gonna add it. 50% gonna add directly to the artistic people. And yes, practicality important. Practical thing is really important for the person.
Right, practicality is equally very important, but art is a major chunk of it.
Yeah, it is a major thing.
All right. And what about you? What would you like to tell our viewers? Do you think that this profession is slowly gaining ground? It's becoming popular.
Yeah, it is gaining, and it is popular also. And if anybody is passionate in designing, if he or she wants to, if he or she is a designer in art and they like drawings and all, and if they have an idea, they like craft, if they are doing something artistic, then they can go for this. And obviously they have to plan something for their future just after 10 or 12th if they want to do a long course, and like she is doing. So they can do also. They have more opportunities. They can do 1 year course also. They can do 3 year also, and they can do 4 year also in interior designing.
Okay. So there's a 4-year course that's available as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that people are slowly getting to know about it.
Yeah.
Did you ever get mixed reviews from people when they got to know you're doing interior designing?
Yeah.
Were there people who were like, is that really something? Is that a feasible job?
Yeah, people ask, do you get projects? Do you have projects? How much do you get? Like they ask.
Yeah, and especially for someone like, even for you, you know, you have a BCom degree, which is usually something people are more familiar with, and then you were wanting to take up medical. So, how does the society deal with this when they get to know, okay, interior designing kar rahi hai? How do they deal
Initially,
with it?
as a student, I have seen in my own apartment, people used to be like, it's very simple subject, I guess. In 3 years, what do you do in 3 years? And I'm like, I used to be quiet. I'm like, okay, it's okay. We're studying 16 subjects in per semester. It's almost like a hard job.
Yeah. It sounds as difficult as medical.
Exactly. I mean, but people hardly believes that, right? So once I completed that and I started my career and I went about projects came and I started getting few awards as well. People like, oh wow, you have award for that? Okay, wow, you have this. The houses, the place out there in Guwahati you have done is very nice. How did you do that? Okay, it's like for all the 3-year course I have done. It's something like that. And then people are getting motivated. You have to bring something out, right? You have to teach the people. It's just not about taking criticisms as well. It's fine though. It hurts you at a point of time, but you're like, okay, let it go. You know, it happens like that.
And you need to go against the tide sometimes, irrespective of what people are telling you.
Exactly.
Well, on that note, viewers, it's time to slip into a quick break, but I'll still be in conversation with these two lovely ladies, Priyanshi and Karishma. So stay with me. Welcome back, viewers. You're still watching Women's World and I'm still in conversation with two interior designers, and we've been talking about your journey, about how you started off, also your failures, and I think we ended on criticism, how you've been handling criticism. And prior to which you had mentioned that you had also received a few awards. So tell our viewers a little about that as well.
All right. So the first award of my journey was like this year in January, where I got an award which was based on a competition which I applied for, just like that, you know, like being a fresher. Let's see. I tell myself as a fresher because just 3 years though. So I just thought, okay, let's compete with a 50-year-old architect as well, and it really clicked out very good. So that was the first boost up again to do more, to do something, bring out something more back to Guwahati, because you know, working out there, you know, as a student, being there in Delhi and then again shifted to Bangalore, there was nothing as such, as you told, like how is the market here in Guwahati. I took a risk coming back. When my first project got into a boost, I thought, let's teach the client, let's share something, and that I have seen clients have been supporting me as well, because even they are a part of my journey today to compete for that competition. Because when I'm presenting Northeast International Ground, it shows okay, designers are there in Guwahati. People are like, oh wow, in Northeast you have designers, you do designs. It's something like that you come to hear, right? And it's like, yes, obviously I'm presenting Northeast, I'm from Guwahati. It really, makes you feel really good. So after that, I had been applying for a few more decors and design studios like that, and which I have got awarded. And the recent award was a National Icon Award, which I got from fellowshipped by Sunil Sethi in Delhi only. So it was a very nice experience, and now I'm competing for international level after this. So I'll be really trying hard to bring Northeast there as well.
That's lovely, and let's hope you put Northeast on the global map as well. Such a wonderful achievement, and I'm sure even the viewers are very proud of what you have achieved. All right, when I was talking to the two of you, I'd like to know from Priyanshi here, you mentioned that your style is very minimalistic, you like to keep it elegant, and you like to reuse and recycle products. And that is your style. But when you have a client and let's say, a woman comes to you and says, design my home, and her taste is absolutely different from yours. So how do you first of all make up your mind about what kind of a home or what kind of a space would this person like? How do you decide on that?
Firstly, I want to make a conversation with them, so that I want to know what they want basically and what I want to give, and I want to mix both of my designs and her design, and then I give her something. I want to give something new with that. So it is nothing. If someone wants to reuse their product, I want to use that also, and if someone wants new, I can give that also in something different way with her, and matching my idea with her.
Okay, so communication with your clients is very important.
Yeah, exactly.
And what do you do when you get these very challenging clients who are very confused? How do you deal with those clients?
I just don't know how I deal with them. But I just listen with them what they are saying, and just have patience, and then work according to their way with my ideas.
Right.
Exactly.
But it has to be a lot about what your client wants at the end of the day. And what about you, Karishma? What would you like to tell us about, how do you deal with your clients? How do you decode their taste?
Now it's a few years of experience. I can read the client's mind at the first meeting. So I try to listen.
That's very interesting. In the first meeting itself. Okay, tell us more on that.
I just try to see how they express. Some clients are very introvert. They don't say anything. They just give you a flexible idea, do whatever you want.
Right.
But yes, it's not like whatever you want. They're going to exactly ask you questions once you start the site, and I've experienced it. So I try to give them a very comfort zone, very friendly. And that's my nature. I'm very free head, and I keep showing options to them. What exactly is in your mind? Once I read the mind, okay, you are more into traditional designs or you're into contemporary designs, I try to ask what colors do you like, or how do you want to set up your house? You have any pictures you have? Some clients are really, I have seen this hotel in Dubai, I have seen this house in here, can you just relate to something? So that really helps you. And now with that experience, when the client is really blank, I try to give, the clients are more of I don't have anything, just make my house look beautiful and different from the other. And then that I am okay, fine, and I'll give you the best of it. That's a bit challenging than the other project, right. I must say. But yes, once a client is very confused, it doesn't mean that you're gonna, cheat that client or use any other products like that. But I feel personally, okay, let's take up that project, as mine. Imagine it's my house or my space, and let me design something. It gives you a smile on the client, right? Because when you're paying, it's a relationship building as well for us. So yeah, I mean, both way around, I had been doing like that. I had been coordinating with them, being patient, being friendly. Yes, you try to be more cooperative. Try sending them pictures every while in a WhatsApp or something. If I'm not sure exactly, what they want.
Right.
I think
so communicating with them is a very important part of your profession, to give the clients what they want, at the same time putting forward your idea as well.
Sure.
All right, they say that too many cooks spoil the broth, when there are too many ideas coming in from people. So let's say you're working on a project and you personally, like you said, like it simple, and your client likes it with a lot of poppy colors and very bright, very funky. So how do you sort of strike a balance between your taste and their taste, and make sure that none of, let's say, for example, none of charisma is seen in Mr. XYZ's home? How do you do that?
Okay, so in that, because it's my profession, it's my styling, I have to maintain that style, my theme style in that project. I cannot tell directly to the client, I want it. So what I do is I obviously accept their taste as well. For example, if she's more in traditional design, I feel the houses won't be in traditional design. We try to, give them a boost up, make sketches or make a 3D out of it and show it, see exactly gonna look like this. And a client is like, oh wow, no, it's fine, you proceeded ahead. Or no, some clients are really adamant, no, I really want whatever I wanted. Then in that case, what we do is might be a bit of, bits and pieces change in the theme is fine ahead to go, but we cannot compromise or we cannot do anything whatever we want. So sometimes it happens. You have to let it go ahead. But at a certain point of time, they understand when other people or somebody else says okay, this is not good, then the client feels, okay, whatever I said is not good, let's help it out again. So yeah, it happens in that way. But particularly, I have really felt really few clients of in that nature till now.
So most of the ones you've had so far have been very cooperative.
Friendly. They're very cooperative.
All right. And what about you, Priyanshi? What's your experience been like?
Same thing. What she said, the same thing I have also experienced. Some are very adamant, then I have to cooperate according to them. But some are very flexible, so they allow me to do whatever I want to give. And then if there are any changes they want, then I can give them.
Right. But what goes on in your mind? Let's say a client has demanded for a particular design and you know that is absolutely wrong. You know that this is not suitable, this color is not suitable, or this fabric is not suitable for this kind of a couch, or whatever it may be. Because they have hired you, you have to go by their will. But what goes on in your mind when you know that the client is maybe making a wrong choice according to you?
Actually, first what he wants, I give him. And what I want, I give him that also. Then he compares which one is looking good.
Right.
Then according to, we mix match it and then we proceed it.
Okay, so you mix and match. Would you like to add to that?
I usually don't do that. I try, as I told you, because they're hiring me, if I have to give exactly what they want, it will be not fulfilling my job, because I have to create something different they're expecting, right?
Right.
So what I do is I have to do a bit hardship work. I make presentation, I take them to the site or any other done site where I can show them the material, how does it look, or something like a showroom to show exactly what sort of a fabric they have to. Once you touch and feel, they see, they really open up their mind. Otherwise, it's just whatever you're seeing in the magazine or somewhere, I just want this. right? This is a term that they use it. So I used to do a bit of hard workshop, and what I have seen is like they agree at last, you know, okay, whatever I have seen practically now, it's gonna work. So I usually proceed in that way.
Okay, all right. And as you keep, you know, proceeding into this profession, and now it's been 4 years for you, 3 years for you, you know, so you obviously have different types of projects, maybe tons of homes that you have to keep designing. So how do you keep innovating as an interior designer personally? What do you do for your personal growth so that your work does not look repetitive? How do you do that?
We need to explore the ideas by maybe it may be Google or some other applications, or traveling around the city. Like I travel around. I go to Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, everywhere we need to travel and we need to explore the ideas, and from there also we get, because we are living in a city of Assam, and it's a kind of, we can say, a little bit backward from other cities.
Right.
So we need to travel and then explore ideas. For more ideas we need to travel, and then we get ideas somehow, and then there are many more things to do to explore our ideas.
So travel is, you know, a very important part.
I love traveling,
right,
and I travel for ideas.
You travel for ideas, and you get inspiration anywhere and everywhere.
Exactly.
And what about you, Karishma? Where do you draw your inspiration from?
I won't say even 5% of a thing is also added to my list, because yes, I travel a lot. It might be here or outside India as well. So I travel just to understand designs, because everything have its own creativity, right? Any place you stay or room. And adding to that, I have given a subscription to many of a good magazines which comes monthly basis. I keep on reading, because international magazines give you a very different outlook ahead. And yes, we don't get materials all over here in Guwahati. So the first place where we have that is Bombay. So I really keep in touch with the Bombay vendors, as well as I try to visit exhibitions there. You know, I keep on doing that. So even though the vendors out here in Guwahati might take quite a lot of time to get those stuff out here, but me personally, I like try to doing something which is very new. That's how I am. So I, once I visit exhibition, I know that's a product. I'll be telling my client, however it is costly, I'm like, please put it. It's gonna look really wow. And like few clients are really flexible to keep it, and if not, then I'm like fine with it. We can still process it. So magazines and traveling and interacting with people is also very one of a good thing. So I have few designers from different places like Italy or Greece. We are in LinkedIn, we talk, we share, and few platforms out there like hose.com, or there are many websites where only designers interact. We share designs, we talk. That's how we get an idea. Okay, this is this, because one brain doesn't work for a designer. Let me tell you, it has to be 2 to 3 brains to coordinate, brainstorm, and design. Right. So yeah, I mean, for me, these things are working best.
Okay, so traveling, looking at other people as well, learning from them. Magazines, you said, have also helped you quite a bit. So overall, life is where you get your inspiration from, and that's played a very pivotal role in your career. All right, we've talked about clash between maybe interior designers and their clients. Sometimes they want a particular thing, you want something else. That happens. But let's talk about families, clashes between families, within the family itself. There is the father who wants one thing, the mother who wants another thing, the child wants something completely different. Now, how difficult is it to handle a situation like that, and how do you convince the family that this is something that you should work on when everybody has a different desire? How do you do that?
Basically,
firstly, have you had an experience like that? No,
I did not have any experience like a family is sitting in front of me and they are like, kid is telling something and the mother is telling something and the father is telling something. I did not have any such kind of experience. So for me it was easy. I don't have any experience, so I cannot say anything.
Yeah.
But for me, I have only one client. I'm dealing with one of the family member, and only he is only dealing with, and that is the best thing, because if everyone is dealing with us, then I cannot work personally, just because everyone is giving their own ideas, and it is not possible to put everybody's ideas in one place.
Right. So you've not had that experience, thank God for that. What about you, Karishma? Have you had such
I have most of experience like that.
You have had lots of experiences like that. Tell us a little about that.
Okay, so I usually I try to be the main person of the house and try to understand. When he said no, you have to meet my family and understand we have 4 bedrooms, so 4 bedrooms will be of the different themes. My kids are into this, so I try to meet the whole family. I know the meeting stretches to 6 hours, might be in a day. It has gone till that. I have lunch and and I have come back. Once it happened, the whole day I was with them, because to understand what exactly they want. The woman of the house, she was showing me different sort of designs. She's very good with cooking. The whole kitchen design has to be done in that way. The kids might be be into more of, different Batmans or some stuff like that. And I cannot, be just like that. No, you're a kid, live apart.
Absolutely.
I have to give him fun. Exactly. So, I used to like give my whole of my timing, for them. I used to meet the family, understand, make a sheet out of it, right, note it down, and then I used to have yes, it takes bit of time and more of hard working in such projects, but it's somewhere, at last when you give hand over the house, right, you really feel that you've got a new family again. As I told you, build relationships, right? And every person is very happy, even a 5-year kid, like, oh wow, I got my room, or even a lady or whoever, right? So yeah, it happens. We make presentation, and that's how I told you, we used to take the person or the kids, I mean, show them what exactly you want, try to select them. It might, even if in the other side it takes just 1 day to select a fabric, might be for them I would take 3-4 days more. Every day they're gonna come, they're still confused, no, we want this and that. So you need to have patience in that, because at last you are doing for them, right?
Right. Yes. You need to be patient. Again, communicate. And every room again looks different because you have to keep each person's desires and their wants as well. Okay, that's interesting. And I'd love to see your projects, in the days to come. Hopefully we'll be able to show our viewers as well some of the homes that the two of you have designed. All right, now, when you design a home, you put in your heart and soul into it. It's almost like you're designing your home. Every home is your home within that span of time when you're working on it. And when someone appreciates it, obviously it's amazing. It puts you on cloud 9 when someone says this is the best thing ever. But there might be those times when a client is like, this is not what I wanted, the color was not this, the shape is wrong. So how do you deal with that, when that criticism that comes after you've worked for months on a particular project and someone says this is not what I wanted? How do you deal with it?
Oh, as in a fresher, I had one experience like that. So after that, I got when I was heartbroken, but it's okay. Failure comes, you succeed after that. So I just kept that in mind. I told you, meditate, positivity, and every day has to be different. After that, what I did practically is like every single time, like after a week, I try to convey all the designs, like whatever is going in the site, or I try to say the client that you please come and see. Make sure you have to give the importance to the client, that the client feels like even though she's a designer, it's my thing that I'm doing. Every client have those things. You just cannot rule over them. So I try to initiate those every section parts. After a ceiling is done, you come. After a thing is done, you come. In that course of time, you don't have a last blame to be given because the client is already there. You have a proof, right? As proof, as in moreover, the client is satisfied. Okay, this is what exactly I'm wanting. Now you can proceed it. So I try to do that for me.
So you have to involve the client in the entire procedure.
Exactly.
And not just show them the finished product.
True.
Right? So do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Is that also how you
Even
work?
I do the same thing. If I'm doing with the false ceiling work, I call them. That, sir, it is complete. You please come and see the design. If it is okay, if any changes you want, you can do it right now. Afterwards, it creates a problem to make the whole thing again. And then after that, furniture, after the tiles, if anything, like we went out with them to choose the tiles, to choose the materials, everything I go with my clients.
So you're very personally involved as well.
Yeah, we need to involve ourselves personally.
Yeah, and also your client at the same time, so that you don't rule over them, which you said is very important. All right, Priyanshi, now tell us, I'm sure viewers would want to know, on an average, how much time does a project take for you to complete? Or does it vary from project to project?
It varies from project to project. Like if it is a 4 BHK flat, then it takes 6 to 7 months to complete the whole procedure.
Right, and just the interiors?
Yeah, the interior work. Interior includes everything like tiling, ceiling, furniture, polish work, everything it includes.
Right.
Till the date they are entering their house. And if it is a 3 BHK or 2 BHK, it takes around 5 months, 5.5 months.
Okay. Yeah. So in either way, it takes almost half the year.
Yeah, half of the year.
One project takes about 6 months, approximately 6 months. So it's a very hectic schedule. And one thing is that at the end of the day, you're artists. You're also artists. You are creative people. And one thing I've noticed about artists is that they're very nocturnal, they wake up at night and their creative juices flow at night. They sit down and they're sketching. Suddenly a random idea comes to you. So obviously you're involving a lot of yourself into a particular project. So just on a different note, I'd like to know, do you get time to do other things in life, like, for your family, just to hang out, just a normal life? Do you get time for that?
I would say personally, for me now it's a bit hectic though. Just a Sunday is only the time, and Sunday you have to give time to those clients who are working. please come to the site and have a look, or let's go for a meetup, you know. But you have to be very like wise, as I told you, to get out time for that. But today I'm sitting out here. I know half of my day is gone, so I had been telling them like today is a bit important day for me. You have to tell prior, like 3-4 days, and you have to schedule it out.
Right.
And yes, this family thing I told you, because my parents have started saying me now, you don't have a personal life, you don't have time for us as well. But I'm like, please, like this is my starting of my career. You have to be a bit cooperative, you know. That's how sometimes when I'm in the office late night, my parents come up, you know, there, and they're like, okay, let's sit out here only because that's my own space, and we even gossip. I keep on working, so that's a very, you know, mutual understanding between my family and me. And for my friends, yes, they have this whole tagline now that you're quite busy girl and you don't have time for us. But though even after 9 o'clock, I keep a specific time. I'm gonna spend some time with them because it has to refresh your mind as well. Like for my gymming and my tennis is an important part as well. I have to do that because otherwise, until you have a healthy brain, you cannot work the next day.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? So yeah.
Okay, so we'll be getting into more of that as well, about how difficult or easy is it for us to strike a balance between our personal and professional life, especially when you're two young girls who are very ambitious and passionate about what they do. But before that, viewers, it's time to take yet another quick break, but more conversations coming up on the other side of Women's World. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, viewers, and I'm still in conversation with two magnificent interior designers. We've been talking about quite a lot of things, actually, and right now I'd just like to ask you something. We've spoken earlier about how this profession is slowly coming into the limelight and people are getting to know about it. Now here I'd like to ask you, how important would you say a degree is when it comes to this profession, since it involves a lot of creativity? Is it really important to go for a professional course?
Yeah, it is really important to go for a professional course because it includes various kind of subjects, like color, lighting, and furniture designing, everything. Many things are there we need to learn, and then only we can go for our work.
All right, but then are there also successful interior designers maybe who have excelled in this profession without a course?
Yeah, there are.
Yes, I would say there are, but yes, somewhere because education and degree matters, because I would say the subjects that are related to the course gives you a fair idea of what you want to do. Like, you know, there are various subjects of that, and as I told you, interior designing just not in colors, it has a relationship in everything, like even physics or mathematical calculations is important as more than a color. I would say, just to take a measurement, right, or to be on a specific thing and design to get in area, like an area of square feet area or something. So I feel yes, practical knowledge is also very important, and we have seen many people who doesn't have a degree is also, you know, working, but I won't name it as a designer. They are more into practicalism, or they are those people who are more, you know, good with, you know, any practical site viewing, site supervisor, because we have professions as like site supervisor who are paid quite a huge amount, you know, outside. I haven't seen in Guwahati, but because here we are only the designers who are taking care of that. But you have specific jobs for interior designs outside. You know, site supervisor, might be they are very good with it because they need to have that knowledge once they are outside working with carpenters, dealing, because those are very important things, like how you deal a carpenter or labor, you know, a labor in a layman language. You have to be very, you know, specific what you want, because any design we are showing in a 3D or a drawing is not related to a, you know, to a carpenter.
Right.
So I feel like, yes, education matters for you, and once you know exactly where you're specific into which subject, you grow more.
All right. So while on one hand it is possible to excel without having a degree, however, having a professional course in it always gives you the upper hand. It's good for you, right? Okay. So before taking the break, you know, I had heard from Karishma about how difficult it is for her to juggle between her personal and her professional life, and your parents have literally said you don't have a personal life, and you know, because you're so occupied with your work. Now, what's the scene like for you, Priyanshi? How much can you relate to that, or are you a very balanced person?
Maybe, but I'm already staying outside from my family.
Right.
Like they are in Upper Assam and I'm living in Guwahati. So already it is a difference between us. It's a huge difference. It takes 12 hours to travel for me to get them. So I hardly meet them in a year. I meet them for two or three in a year, like. So it is very, they don't know what I am going through, because I don't share everything with them, because they are outside from my personal life and what I'm doing, I'm not doing, they are not aware of anything.
Right. Okay, they're not aware of it, but then at the same time, you've become used to the distance.
Used to it, exactly.
Yeah, you become more independent and you've decided, you've learned how to adjust with that. All right, now since we have two interior designers in our company, in our midst, I think it would just be unfair if I didn't take some tips from you about home decor, and I think this is something that our viewers are eagerly waiting to listen to as well. I think they all have a lot of questions in their mind about how to make their space look better. So the first thing maybe that I'll ask you is some general tips, for all the people who are watching. How can we add positivity to a room? Some basic general ideas. What can you share with us?
For me, I believe the positivity should be in, let's go with a very pastel shades, not too much of bright. Might be you can add a statue which is a Buddha, or any specific related to God, or however the client feels like doing it, with a good waterfall or an aquarium, putting more of greenery life stuff in that space. And usually the positivity for for house is always maintained when we enter. That's a foyer area, has to be always designed in that way. Might be a very good positive painting, I would say, with a good nice console, with a very shimmer light wallpaper, because everything once at first time what happens is like you try to invest many things on one spot, but I would suggest go slow, like have a taste of that wallpaper with a very light design, where you have a flexibility to change that wallpaper after 6 months. Try to invest in something which is very less, might be a 900 wallpaper rather than going on a 1500 or 2000.
Right.
Changing on small pieces might create a different impression. So for a positive outlook, I feel go with more of an airy designs, very light designs, which gives you more of that cool and airy feeling, rather than putting too much on stuff.
Pastel shades.
Pastel shades.
All right.
Yes.
And what about you, Priyanshi? How would you design a room to add positivity?
I believe in like she told, we can place a Buddha, and I believe for positivity you can use Tulsi. And the way in which we are entering should be the positive, and the near the entrance, basically near the entrance, we get a very good space. So utilizing it with a light color and making it very simple. So in that way, I used to utilize the space.
All right. And considering that we're living in a day and age where the population is huge, it's literally shooting up, and we have scarcity of land and space, so usually a lot of people have smaller homes. So how can we enhance the space, or at least create an illusion that the place is bigger? What tips can you share with us on that?
For smaller space, maybe it a small room. So I believe in not putting much of furnitures, like a bed and an almirah, basic needs, and making it very light, not putting dark colors in it, so that if I put light colors in it, so the room will look a bit bigger, not very small. So I basically prefer that.
Okay, so light colors.
Light colors, and whatever I would suggest, go with a very light furnitures, not that wooden, too bulky furnitures, very minimal. Might be, it can be a white color furnitures as well. Why not try something which give you a feel of more of Santorini theme, like a blue and white, and like beige shades. It creates an impression. And yes, nowadays modular furnitures are very much in. So and those studio apartments are like you can create a bed as well as in the daytime it's sofa. We have designed such places in a few homes where couples live in just 1 BHK, having kitchen and bedroom, and it's a collapse thing. So those designs, people can have a broad outlook. People usually think it's very small home, how are we gonna live, but no, there is no end to it designs. So let's try on modular stuff.
So multi-purpose furniture.
Yes, multi-purpose furnitures.
Okay, that's an interesting take. All right, some more tips I'd like to get from you. Now let's say, I'm designing a room, let's say a dining area, and it's again very small. So what can I add to give it, because it's a place where we eat, so we'd like it to be fresh. So how can we do that? If I'm living in an apartment which doesn't have too many windows, how can I add freshness to my dining area?
If it's a small space, I would suggest go with a circle, circle round dining table which have bench design styles, because these are very in nowadays.
Right.
Everything doesn't have to be bulky for a 8-seater dining as well. Sometimes I personally suggest clients to go with a bench styling, because you have a very small space. Go to very pastel printed, cushions covering on that bench design, and on the either hand it can be any other pastel shades as well. So that gives you an impression of, oh wow, it's not a dining, it's like a sofa as well. And yes, adding to that, you can create a very nice backdrop with some, creepers, good flowers, or, any print wallpaper, that always creates a, impression of like it's a very cozy, nice space. It doesn't have to be like it's a dining, so it has to be brown or black. No, it's never like that.
Right. So we can use circular tables.
Circular table.
Would you like to add to that? Any more tips that we can
take?
take?
I agree with her.
You agree with her? All right. Now let's talk about Assam. People living in Assam, we face the brunt of the heat. It's very hot, and maybe not everyone can afford an air conditioner in every room. Most people have an AC in their bedroom, which is okay, but in the living room or in the dining areas, kitchen especially, we don't have an AC or a fan. So what can we do to give our house a cooling effect? What can we do? How can we play with colors or furniture or anything else that we can use?
We can use light color, light furnitures, and we can keep the space open. Like if we have a balcony, windows, and putting light colors in it, light furnitures, not very heavy furnitures or heavy colors also, putting a very simple ceiling in it, and light colors, putting less of lights in it, LED lights I'm talking about, and then this is what we can do.
Light furniture. Yeah. Would you like to give us some more tips?
Yeah, I believe that air circulation plays a very important role in that. So if it's a flat, we don't have an idea, like we have to bit compromise, but I suggest, I don't usually go for closing the windows for design perspective. If we really are, we put a point that it has to be a bit sustainable, as I told you, I'm more into that. So I believe in cross ventilations, Yes, light color plays a very important role. And something that doesn't make you bore, after 2-3 months. It has to be pastel shades as well. Very light curtains that we play around now. It is, even blinds are very in. Not those, office blinds that we have an impression, but they are very clothed blinds, which, have those air circulation effects. Along with that, yes, fan can be added up, but those cross ventilation plays a very important role, I feel. So you should keep in mind, wherever a bedroom or a kitchen or whatever space do we have, we should maintain that thing, if in case we want to save our electricity and not using AC.
Right.
Yeah.
So opening windows will be a very important part. But I live in an apartment, so I can tell you the truth that when we open windows, we also welcome and invite a lot of mosquitoes into our flat, and they come and dine with us during breakfast, lunch and dinner. So how do we tackle that when you're designing a home? What kind of precautions do you take?
You have a mosquito mesh nowadays, so you can after like a specific timing, might be you can have that closed one. And then for me, I'm just saying the light, how much light you have, and more of air circulation plays an important role. Adding to the mosquitoes and the other smell, and nowadays apartments are like so congested. You have other apartments where people will be viewing you, right? So you have those materials where you can see from inside, but those people cannot see you. So you can might be play with something like that, and adding to the accessories to make you feel you are in a very cozy and very light space. You should play with more of white colors, more of brick themes, nice slogans, or paintings which have depicting more of an interior thing, which shows like you are into like what do you say, that like some good lines on that might be on a kitchen or dining space. More of flowers, something like that, which
and all right, just my last tip I'll ask from you about lighting. Now, in different I've actually seen this sometimes when it's hot, and we've got, in layman's term, we call it the yellow light. Yellow light and white light, that's what we call it. So in which season should we use what type of lighting, and how important is lighting?
Lighting is very important. Like it's not about the season, it is about the room. I basically prefer, if we have a big room, we can put on, if have a small room, we put 2 or 3 lights. Like we have 12 watt of light, 16 watt, like we prefer that. And I basically prefer white light. I don't prefer warm lights. I put warm lights, but in 3 watts or 2 watts, not more than that.
Okay, so warm lights.
Yeah.
All right. And what about you?
I would suggest seeing, it depends on the spaces. Like if it's a space where you have bright color furnitures, I would say go off more of mild lightings. Might be a tray lighting which dims the space in a very different way.
Right.
The lighting depends on the furniture color as well as the theme of the interior. And addition to that, the clients who are more into very gloomy spaces, we suggest of a ceiling light in white, and we create indirect lightings. Those indirect lightings are like in a form of a chandelier, like a nice chandelier, you know, and just in between of a ceiling, or a nice lamp on the corner. In the evening, you just put on those, you know, corner lamps, or a table lamp, or might be in wall indirect lighting, which is indirect in a way, but you get an impression there is something just glittering up.
Right.
So, you know, those plays a very important role on that whole thing.
Lighting is very important.
Yeah, it's very important.
All right, you know, I think there's so many more questions, especially that many of us would like to ask on how we can beautify our homes. But unfortunately, we've got time restrictions on this show, so we have to wrap up this conversation. But before we do that, if you can quickly maybe just give a word of advice to all the young girls who are watching our show right now, and, you know, who perhaps would like to take up interior designing as a profession, and there are so many questions in their mind, how do they go about it? What would you like to tell them?
I'd like to say, if you're willing to do interior designing or something like that, or an architect course, so firstly you need to be passionate about it, what you want to do. If it is an interior designer, then go for it, study about it, and firstly you need to be your skills should be very sharp for this designing course.
All right, your skills need to be very sharp.
Because
and how important is finding a mentor when it comes to this?
I did not get any, so I cannot say.
But can young girls come to you now?
Yeah, sure, they can come to me.
All right, so now you know if you're looking for a mentor, you know, and someone who can guide you into this profession. We have Priyanshi right here.
Yeah,
and
sure.
what about Karishma?
Okay,
what would you like to tell all the...
as I told you, I have opened my, you know, branch here in Guwahati.
Yeah.
So I have like started this polishing course before, because it's not easy to apply off like, you know, colleges like NID or stuff like that, because you need to have a very good portfolio.
Right.
So I have started few of like those, you know, polishing into few of those people. 5-6 people have already joined, where I'm guiding exactly with sketching, with what are the main things that has to be highlighted during your interview, the way of speaking, the specific things which really matters, like intelligent interiors, your colors, you know, your guidance. Some of the polishing has to be done.
Right.
So I've already started that thing, because I had been getting calls a lot, you know, and all my messages and calls, like for the juniors who had been calling me and asking how do we crack, where do we study. I see people in Northeast, they're a bit confused, the kids.
Yeah.
So I have already entertained, and I'm very sure like if they want any help, they are very, you know, welcome to my office, which is in Rajgarh. I would really help to guide, you know, I'll guide them with. And yes, if they are very sure that you have a passion and towards you have this patience and you want to do something out of your box, and whatever you have in your mind, you want to show something to your, you know, to the people, then you should approach this course. But yes, you need to be very patient, and yes, very like, you know, what do you say that? Like quite determined.
Okay, you need to be determined.
Determined, yes.
And yes, we do have a lack of mentors in the Northeast, but we have 2 new upcoming interior designers in the Northeast who are going to be helping you out with that. So girls and boys, I think you've got no reason to worry. We've got Priyanshi and Karishma who are going to help you out with that. And I'm sure they're going to be succeeding in life. So all the very best to the 2 of you. Thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us free tips on the home decor as well. I'm definitely going to go and apply some of that at home. And all the very best to you girls. Thank you so much for joining us. So on that note, viewers, we have come to the end of this episode of Women's World. I truly learned so much about how to enhance my space, how to give it a more original touch. And I'm sure you'll agree with me on that as well. And of course, if you're looking for interior designers, you know where to go, because they'll put in their heart and soul to give you your dream home. So don't forget to do that as well. And yes, stay tuned to Northeast Live, because I'll be back with a fresh episode of Women's World next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Until then, stay tuned to our channel. Thanks so much for joining us.